Kagaribi 10 was a clash like none other. 1,024 entrants, including the biggest and most talented North American contingent to ever compete at a Japanese Smash tournament, descended upon Tokyo, Japan for what only can be described as one of the most legendary tournaments in Smash Ultimate history. Join us at Smash University as we take you through the upsets, the drama, and the history that was made this weekend in Tokyo.
Kagaribi capped off Japan's Golden Week, a week of national holiday that turns into the biggest week of Japanese Smash Bros. Prior to Kagaribi, there was also Masamune Top number 12 and Delta number 4. Big events where Japan had shined. Acola was in his old dominant self at Masamune, dropping just 2 games all bracket. With Acola absent from the midweek event Delta number 4, Mia took the gold, his 3rd major win of the year and his 5th top 2 finish. And then there were the hidden bosses who showed up and made themselves known. Banjo player Totoguri and Duck Hunt player Jagabata upset Mutace at Maisuma. Prom player Lax and Lucario player Gachapi took down Zamba at Delta.
Wait, it worked! It worked! The bait of all time? What the heck was that, dude?
We've spent 4 years theorizing about the differences between Japan's meta and America's meta. We've seen how Japanese players handle playing in America, but we'd never seen how such a large group of North America's finest would handle the unique challenges of Japan's meta. Well, the early returns were clear. Between Maisuma Top number 6 and Delta number 4, only one North American player managed to outplace his seed, Send, with his run to 13th at Maisuma. It was getting to the point where a meme had developed. When a North American player was on stream getting bodied once again by one of Japan's "thanks for playing the game" characters, you would see it all over the chats. Welcome to Japan. Kagaribi's first day only featured pool play, cutting the field from 1,024 down to 192. Usually, this means a quiet day for the upset threads, as top seeds and pools hold it down and get warmed up for the main event on day 2. But this is Japan.
Another one and does! Always,
Okay,
that is the classic.
That is a classic Levi pop-up.
Whether you were a visitor or one of Japan's top players, nobody was safe. Upset factor measures the number of rounds by which a favorite who was upset was expected to progress beyond the underdog who beat them. At tournaments the size of Kagaribi 10, a major upset is usually considered one of the upset factors 5 or more. At Genesis 9 earlier this year saw 19 upsets of upset factor 5 or higher across the entire bracket. Kagaribi had 7 such upsets on day 1 alone. It started in winners round 1, where Hungrybox was among the first to fall. Then Mr. R got taken down by Steve player Rima, not to be confused with Toonlink player Rima. But it wasn't until the best of 5 started in the final round of the day where the biggest names started falling. At upset factor 5, there was Yuto over top Japanese Captain Falcon Jugibo and LY over Cosmos, as Cosmos' former character continues to haunt him. But these upsets paled in comparison to some of the top 8 threats that found themselves in losers before the first day was over. First, Inkling player Levi took down Mutace, hitting roller after roller in a dominating 3-0 victory. Shortly after, Bayonetta player Tama P. Daifuku defeated T in a stunning 3-2 set that went down to the wire, winning a matchup that many Bayonetta players consider to be among their worst. But the most shocking upset of the day had to be the one over Mia, the man who's been Japan's Mr. Consistency for the past 3 months. The event's 3rd seed was toppled by Matata, a highly ranked Smash Mate Meta Knight who got his chance against top players in a good matchup and absolutely made it count. When it was all said and done, 18 of the top 64 seeds has been sent to losers on day 1, and 5 of them have already been sent packing, and we were just getting started. Welcome to Japan indeed.
Imagine thinking you were safe just because you made it through pools. In the first winners round of Championship Sunday, 4 more of the event's top 16 seeds were unceremoniously dumped into the losers bracket. 3 of them were Japan's own. Kameme fell to Masha's Wolf, Gact fell to Yoshi's Cloud, and Shuton was utterly deleted by Yoko Sharp's Electric R.O.B. The Buzz, who had been the North American with the most struggles so far in Golden Week, had his rough streak continue with a loss to Taikei, Japan's second best Sonic after Ken. Combined with the Buzz losses with Fatality, lost to a Mario player Snow in the same round, and Zomba was the only US player left in winners. The Australian Snake player, Kanaji, also had already dispatched Mute Ace at 97th. North America could at least hold on to the hopes for Canada's Riddles and Mexico's Spargo, as well as Zomba, but that did not last long. The most impactful upsets of Sunday easily belong to Yora and Dio, players who had been rising in Japan for ages. The exact kinds of players that some of Smash's biggest nerds really wanted to see compete against some of North America's best players. Dio had already been a force in Japan since Ultimate's release, a regular in top 8s at the Sumibata and Karisuma series. He had already picked up huge wins over Asimo and Miya at Japan's January Umebura SP9, giving him a strong argument for the title of best Snake in Japan. And then he outlasted Riddles in a tense Game 5 set, adding yet another top player to the list of names he's taken down. He had already proven himself against North American talent, taking down Cosmos at Kowloon 5 back in April and Jazo at Maisuma top number 12 earlier in the week. But Spargo was by far his toughest test yet, and he aced it. He came out of the gate flying, hitting ridiculous combos like Super Missile and Nadir to punish ledge getup, and was showing off a brand of movement and active play we rarely see from Samus. This wasn't just a win, this was a destruction, and Yora had set North America's best hope in the bracket down to losers. Yora wasn't done. He would pick up another one of the day's biggest upsets, ending T's run through the losers at 17th place before falling to Miya for 13th. The best Samus debate had seemed pretty resolved recently thanks to Sisuke's incredible play throughout 2022. But Yora showed up this weekend at Kagaribi and told the whole world, "Don't forget about me." As the bracket progressed to top 64 though, the chaos started to dissipate, with the main exception of an unreal run to 9th place by Snake player Hurt, who made 5 upsets of at least upset factor 3 after falling to Yez in pools. Aside from Hurt's run and Omatsu's upset of Cosmos, his third since Cosmos came to Japan in April, loser's side was clear of major upsets in top 64. In winner's bracket, those who had survived made the most out of their cleared paths. Acola showed some vulnerability, dropping game 1 against both Lima and Persiraman, but he arrived as scheduled in top 8. Yoshidora made it there as planned as well, setting up a classic and winner semis as projected despite all the top players falling around them. The other side though was where the chaos reigned. Who would take the spots vacated by the second and third seeds Spargo and Miya? It wouldn't be the players who made the upsets. Yora fell to one of Japan's best players in the post-lockdown era, Bowser player Hero, who continues to check people with incredible patience and game sense even as the cast power level rises out of control all around him. Hero earned his spot in top 8 with a heart-stopping Game 5 set over Ken Sonic, somehow outlasting one of the most patient veterans of the game. Despite what seems like a matchup doomed for easy timeouts and circle camping, Sonic's listed the matchup as advantage for Sonic in his latest tier list, and you probably don't need me to tell you why. Hero has made it look downright even since coming to offline events in the post-lockdown era. With his win on Sunday, Hero is now 3-3 lifetime against Ken, showing the power of patience and fundies even in the face of the most frustrating foe. Zomba made the deepest run in winners out of all the outsiders, reaching winners quarters via wins over Luminous, Huto, and Ike. He was able to push Sakurai, taking game 1, but fell to Pit in 4 games. Zomba was partially able to make that winner's run because he dodged Miya, but he couldn't dodge the Game & Watch any longer. After falling to Matara's Meta Knight day 1, Miya was faced with a 9-set gauntlet to reach top 8. He dropped just 3 games in the first 8 sets of that run. Zomba's Lucina made a valiant effort, pushing Mia to a 5th and final game, but it wasn't enough, and Mia completed the absolute gauntlet run to find himself once again in top 8. To make top 8's losers at Kagaribi 10, you actually had to make the run of your life. It wasn't just Mia. Spargo and Riddles both dropped in round of 48, and each had to win 5 sets each just to qualify for the final bracket. Spargo was not only pushed to the final game by Ken,
The sword and the fire. The fire and the flames to carry on.
Oh, that's it!
Zero,
Sparkzilla
top
takes it!
8.
Stop. Beautiful stuff.
Riddles, though, had to get past 2 best of 5s, taking down Shuton and Lima in decisive games. With yet another top 8 finish, Riddles was the king of consistency this weekend. He top 8'd all of the big 3 Golden Week events: Masuma, Delta, and Kagaribi, and Mia is the only other player who can make that claim. And then there was the king of New York, the one who said earlier in the week that he had no chance competing in Japan. Everyone knew his characters too well. He didn't have the element of shock and surprise that he had in the North American meta. And then Sunday happened. The list of names the Buzz took down alone doesn't do justice to what he accomplished in his run to 4th place. The stamina and rock solid mentality it took to do what the Buzz did cannot be overstated. The Buzz won 9 sets in losers, including a ridiculous 6 sets that went to a 5th game. At one point, he won 5 game 5 sets in a row. The last one, his win over Riddles, snapped a 3-set losing streak to his Liquid teammate, and you can just see how much that win meant.
Oh my god, the Buzz! The Buzz bringing it all the way to game 5 and clutching it out with some of the most amazing Rosa play I've ever seen in this game.
He would get one more, a 3-1 over Hero, before he was stopped in his tracks by the man no one could stop on this night.
What the hell was that?
You can't play the game.
Yeah.
Poor Bowser, man.
Oh,
Couldn't get through
no,
Luma.
Not at all.
Could not get through the Luma bodyguard. The Luma bouncer.
Kagaribi 10 provided one of the most electric top 8s you'll ever see. In winner's side, Japan's greatest players delivered epic matchups, with Yoshidora coming ever so close to upsetting Acola before the anti-air diamond forward smash delivered Japan's #1 to winner's final.
Last punish that he needs for this set.
Amazing spacing coming out from Acola. Just catching Yoshidora, overextending with that forward air, and honestly just hit Yoshi right on the nose. Yeah.
On the other side, Zachary's Pit continues to show a dimension of the character we've never seen before. It's easy to forget that this character got some really significant buffs over quarantine in patch 8.0.0. That's not to say that these buffs push this character into top tier or anything, but rather Zachary has taken an improved but forgotten character and breathed new life into it, pushing Pit in a way only somebody with his skill and imagination could. Perhaps that might sound familiar.
There it is. The king returns to the top of the mountain and claims the crown at the Ludwig Smash Invitational for Ultimate.
In the end, Zachary's swift movement and tight confirms proved to be too much for Hero, setting up the winner side clash Japanese Smash fans have always been waiting for since Acola started dominating the scene since last year.
Dude, that's crazy! That's a god! This guy's a god! Oh my goodness! We are moving forward! We're getting our winners finals, baby!
That's right. Thanks to Zachary's Pokemon Unite hiatus, Kagaribi 10 was somehow the first ever matchup between Japan's present and past #1. It delivered, going back and forth until a Game 5 where Acola simply got too much momentum for Zachary to break through. Still, Zachary's Pit proved it was strong enough to compete on the highest level, pushing the strongest player of the strongest character to the absolute limit before falling. Despite the rough start though, North America wasn't done. Spargo's loser run was far from complete. He dispatched Mia without much trouble, reminiscent of Genesis 9, where he was forced to take out Acola in losers round 1 of top 8. That time, he was stopped at 5th by Light. This time, nobody would get in his way. Yoshidora got game 1, but Spargo adapted immediately and was able to take the set by game 4. For the 8th consecutive time, Spargo took out the buzz, setting up the perfect narrative ending to the tournament that was built up as the first premier level clash between Japan and North America on Japanese soil. Spargo and losers, on the run of his life, the best players of Japan's new and old eras, Acola and Zachary, the only players left in his way. You couldn't draw it up any better. Spargo and Zachary had played once before, at Summit 3, right after the return to offline play, where Spargo fully announced to the world that he was that guy, with a devastating 3-0 over Zachary's Joker and Wario. Spargo was playing Aegis then, so this would be a completely different character matchup. Zachary's pit was competitive despite the huge range disadvantage against Cloud, but it did not prove to be more of the same. For the second time, Spargo took down Zachary 3-0, sending the pit home at 3rd place. For Zachary, this is an incredible result, but honestly, that's nothing new. Watching him play, there might be an even bigger takeaway to be had. He looks like he loves the game more than ever before. Whether Pit was the catalyst for that and gained perspective from another competitive endeavor, or something else entirely, one thing seems for sure. The loving the game buff is real, and Zachary took full advantage of it this weekend. Acola sent a tweet out during the carnage of Sunday's Day 2 bracket that said simply, "I can't beat Spargo or Mutace, so why are the Japanese guys so strong?" Acola did beat Spargo once, the first time they played back at the Ludwig Smash Invitational, but since then, it was all Spargo, in a 3-2 win at the Scuff World Tour and a 3-0 drubbing at Genesis 9. There was nobody Acola feared more in losers bracket than Spargo. And here he was, staring him down. Acola had the advantage of entering on winner's side, but if anything, the extra set just gave Spargo more time to break down Acola's confidence. After the 3-1 to reset it, Acola dipped into the pockets, trying the Kazuya and the Aegis. Neither could keep up with Spargo, who continued to play some of the cleanest Smash of his life in what might go down as the greatest losers bracket run of all time. The only real competition in terms of open events with high-level contenders from North America, Europe, and Japan at the same event would be Frostbite 2020, where MK Leo also won 11 sets in a row to win the event through losers after getting 3-0'd by a young rising star, beating multiple fellow #1 contenders on his way to the title. That's a hefty comparison, and it raises the question, did we just watch the crowning of Smash Ultimate's new #1 player? If it wasn't for the absurd quality of Acola's season to date, featuring a Summit win with a similarly ridiculous losers run along with 3 other major titles, the answer would be clearly yes. Spargo has now won 2 consecutive majors, dating back to Major Upset and his positive records on the best competitors, most notably his 4-1 over Acola. It does seem fair to say at this point, thanks to his track record against the other top contenders, particularly Acola, Spargo controls his own destiny despite lacking the number of major titles Acola has racked up this year. If he can win Battle of BC 5 in a couple of weeks, nobody will be able to say a word against him. Considering we're just 2 months removed from his last place finish at Summit, that's an incredible turnaround for the young Spar GOAT. It's unclear when we'll get another event like this, with a huge contingent of outsiders making their way to Japan for a huge tournament like Kagaribi. But Kagaribi 10 was exactly what Smash Ultimate needed. History was made as new and veteran players alike made themselves known to worldwide audiences. And the rivalry between Japan and North America has been ignited like never before. It's been Charles and Bam, and thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to like and subscribe. And while you're at it, let me know what your thoughts are on Kagaribi 10. You can also check out the other various forms of content we have here at Smash University, and we'll also be doing this for Battle of BC 5, so make sure to stay tuned. And of course, until next time, class dismissed.